Welcome to another edition of Vesper's Retro Reviews. I'm Ramsis.
And I'm TheVespor.
And we're here for another review of a Transformers Generation 1 episode. This is going to be a great one. It's going to introduce fan favorite characters. So get ready for this one. Let's get it going right now. This is going to be the 8th episode of the 1984 first season of Transformers Generation 1. First aired on October 27th, 1984 in syndication. The episode is called S.O.S. Dinobot, and it was written by Donald F. Glutz. Now this episode, like I said, is going to introduce three main, very important, very popular, very focal characters that are going to change the whole feel of the show. Not yet, because we're still in Season 1, but as the series goes along, these are going to become very prominent characters. Now there's a reason it's called S.O.S. Dinobots, is because this is the creation of the Dinobots. We finally made it here. This is a very interesting episode because these characters are just sort of inserted into the plot line here. There's no real rhyme or reason of how they did this. It just sort of happens. But before we get to the plot of the episode, let's look at the Dinobots toys themselves, because that's actually vital. Up until now, we had only the cars and we had the Decepticons. That was it. Now we're going to get something a little different. Vespor, do you have any memories of the Dinobots before we give a little history of the toys themselves?
Oh god, I absolutely loved the Dinobots because when you're marketing to kids, all young boys want to be two things: cowboys and dinosaurs. So what you have here is the ultimate marketing gimmick known to mankind: robotic dinosaurs. How cool is that?
Who doesn't want a transforming dinosaur helping out the team? And no, they did not just create this for Transformers. Again, we're going to look back at the history for a minute or two. Now, the Dinobots started as, of course, Takara Diaclone toys in 1983. They were part of the sub-series known as Dinosaur Robo, and they had all 5 Dinobots that you're going to see in the toy line and series. Only 3 show up in this episode, but there are 5 made all together. All 5 will make their way into the series. So, of course, you have Grimlock, who is the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Slag, who is the Triceratops.
Sludge, who is the Brontosaurus.
Then we have Snarl, who was a Stegosaur.
And Swoop, who is the Pterodon. As I said, they were called the Dinorobos, and they were just known as their animal type. So, Tyrannosaurus, Brontosaurus, etc., etc. It matched into the Diaclone line in Japan, where they actually had riders that came with the figures. So, it actually came with almost everything that the Transformer toy came with, but it also had a little rider where you can open up the back door on the back of even Grimlock. They did not remove the door, by the way, on the Dinobot figures. They still have the doors there. The idea of having a rider inside a robotic dinosaur that comes fully equipped with all these great weapons and abilities, you gotta admit, Vespor, that's a cool thing.
Yes, this is definitely the supreme marketing ploy of the 80s. Giant transforming robot dinosaur.
So when they were brought over to America, it seemed like a no-brainer. Of course, we're going to introduce this into the Transformers toy line. It could work on either side, but I think the reason they did not put this on the Decepticons is because of a certain 6-member combining group that is about to show up in a few episodes from now, so this is going to be the equalizer. And that is pretty much why they divided. Dinobots are going to go to the Autobots, the Constructicons are going to go to the Decepticons. It equals out. They're now balanced out that way. Dinobots were some of the most popular characters all throughout the Transformers series. Even today, in the current series, you will still see Dinobot-related toys in the series in some form or fashion. When they did Generation 2, they had 3 versions of Grimlock all painted different colors. They had Slag. They brought back all these characters again and again. I am understating how popular the Dinobot toys and characters were. Now, the personalities of the characters are weird in both the comic and TV show. We're only going to talk about TV show here, but the toys themselves are just awesome. Anyone who's a fan has to have all 5 Dinobots. And I think that covers up the little history that no, they were not just randomly created and they were not just randomly inserted. They were pre-existing and they were specifically chosen for the Autobots to equal out things that are going to happen later on. I think that's all the history that needs to be said on the Dinobots. So that's the little history of the Dinobots. If you guys are wondering why they're in the show and why they're showing up here, that's going to be the main focus of this episode. Now I think we're ready to start the episode with our little history out of the way. And as always, we'll have Vespor start things off. How does the episode S.O.S. Dinobots start out, Vespor?
With us focusing in on the Ark and Autobots being an intergalactic species that lives for millions of years, is wondering why the ground is shaking.
Oh, it must be Rumble and the Decepticons. They're like, yeah, right. We know you have the worst security and you don't ever see anything coming, but that's a little far-fetched.
So now to investigate, Ironhide uses his Sondar. They combine sonar and radar into one. And he points his little wrist at the wall and uses it and finds that there is a gigantic cavern right there that they did not know anything about.
That's amazing. Now they're going to explore it. And of course, they must be the luckiest Transformers in the world because humans have been searching through caverns and tunnels forever and have not found what they're about to find, all laying there perfectly preserved and in great condition.
But they also come across some brand new species here because Optimus, stands about 30 feet. Jazz comes up to about his chest, so we're going to say he's about 20 feet tall. Jazz eventually walks in front of a dinosaur skull that looks like it could one-shot him, eat him whole in one bite.
Yeah, I think they found the largest species of dinosaur ever to walk the Earth. You thought Godzilla was big? Not compared to this dinosaur.
Suddenly, all the Autobots are now intrigued by these bones, which blows my mind. I'm like, you have mastered traveling through the cosmos, and you're worried about a few big bones of creatures? What?
It is a little strange. Dinosaur bones are the most interesting and shocking thing for robots who live to be millions of years old. I'm like, really? Wow. I guess they live a very uninteresting existence if some old dead bones on a planet that we're stuck on now are the most interesting things we've ever seen. It's really nonsensical. They're doing this to get the Dinobots into the series. I understand that. The Dinobot toy line, they knew it was going to be big, but I don't know if I totally agree how they go about this. But for a kid's show, I'll say it's an interesting idea. We're going to learn a little bit about dinosaurs. We're then going to make a robot based on it. They're sort of doing a step-by-step, wow, here's the fossils, wow, let's look more into it, wow, that would make great Transformers. For some reason, Spike has become the be-all, do-all human whenever they need somebody. He's going to be Mr. Know-It-All. Anything you want to know about dinosaurs, well, Spike's the man because scene or two, he's going to take us to another location.
Well, now you got to remember, Spike's a down-to-earth good boy, with superhuman feats of strength, durability. He would also know about these dinosaurs because, after all, he's a closeted paleontologist, most likely.
There's two plots to this episode. One is the creation of the Dinobots, and now we're going to find out what our second plot of this episode is.
It's dealing with Decepticons, so that means they've found some new source of unimaginable energy that will allow them to take over the universe.
Yes, it's going to be stated to be that, but no, it's not new. They've known about this energy in all 8 episodes of this series. This is not a new energy source. And for some reason, Megatron has Reflector, all 3 of them for once, and Soundwave doing some weird probe work.
Whoa, wait a second. Pause on that. What attachment is that? Is that supposed to be an earbud gone wild or something here?
They're doing reconnaissance. The data they're gathering, it's like, alright, so Reflector's taking a picture of the waterfall. Again, nothing new to Decepticons. They've seen this a billion times before. We even have episodes in our reviews here showing you they've done this.
Especially the second episode where they're fighting on top of a dam.
Right. The funny part is Soundwave is using the probe weird device to listen to 2 humans above.
As long as the water goes over the Great Falls, the generators will keep producing electrical energy.
Yeah, so that's what they're teaching him. And they're like, aha, we got it. Now we know how this works. I'm like, are you kidding me? They needed to figure out how a waterfall is powering a generator to have the mysteries of what is going on here.
Well, no, the bigger mystery, where's the dam? Because that's where the generators are located. They just have the transformer station that's located above it that uses it to transport it out. And then they fly away in plain view of the station. They're literally right below it. And they don't know 4 robots flying away. And as far as we know, the Autobots do not go snooping around power plants.
Now, Spike is going to give Hound a tour of the Natural History Museum. Isn't that nice?
Oh yeah, that's right. And you totally see that there's all kinds of people you'd expect to see in there. We've got the punk rocker over here.
Punk rocker. Oh, hey.
Wow, man, that's what I call heavy metal.
The power of holograms is shown to us here because he's like, oh, look, dinosaur bones. I'll use my hologram gun. Well, once again, it shows that the technology with the Autobots and Decepticons are absolutely ludicrous because the pan-galactic empire of robots is amazed at antimatter and hydroelectric power.
Who would have thought that our technology from a primitive society such as Earth in 1984 is so advanced compared to what this Cybertronian robots have? I know, hydropower. Who would have thought?
Well, at least they make up for it with this super hologram gun that literally gets all the information to the point that when he gets back to the actual Ark, he can quite literally make a full-blown picture of the Jurassic period.
Oh, I thought this was Jurassic Park for a second. This is the images he took from the fossil? That's amazing. Looks like an episode of Land of the Lost. This is great.
This world is strange and new. See the triple moons. But don't you turn your back. You become a snack. Get some Tyrannosaurus. Could be hungry for us. We need to make some friends. The wonder never ends. Now we've crossed the line. Falling through time. Living in the land of the lost. We opened the door and found dinosaurs. Living in the land of the lost. Living in the land of the lost. Land of the lost.
Yeah, and they're looking at these and they're trying to kill each other, and then they're like, we should make these for our own.
Killing each other, eh? Yes, yes, we need these killers on our side.
But here's the thing that blows my mind, first of all. How are they going to make these things? Because, as we've seen with the Decepticons, they are just throwaway disposable robots when you make them, as we saw in the 3rd episode.
They don't really say. We learn about it in many later episodes, but this is the first episode that actually describes how do you create a new Transformer? Where do they come from? And as we're about to find out, you just sort of have the blueprint, you put it on a computer, and you say, aha, and you just start putting it together. I guess that's it.
And of course, Wheeljack, being the builder of Dinobots, shows off his finished product, brags about how good of a dinosaurs they are, and to boot, he made them stupid exactly like the dinosaurs.
Even the Autobots are looking at him like, huh? Yeah, well, Spike said they were stupid, so I wanted to keep them as authentic as possible, even though they're transforming robots who can do things that real dinosaurs can do. But we'll keep the stupid part, because at least that I can keep. Oh, wait a minute, you have upgrades. Alright, so he does have upgrades to the Dinobots, but why is he keeping them stupid?
I don't know. Maybe, as you see here, it's because they do everything they say for exactly 20 seconds before they realize, oh wait, we're stupid.
Alright, yeah, we'll show off for a little bit. Nah, that's no fun. Let's just rampage and destroy everything. Why would you create something that you can't control and has no intelligence?
Why, that's easy to answer, Ramses. We couldn't have this wonderful fight scene and allow for a MacGuffin to happen for the story.
And what's that MacGuffin, Vespor?
Teletran 1 gets destroyed by Grimlock.
Ah, yes. So the Autobots are trying to stop the Dinobots and are failing miserably, which is good. It shows for some strange reason you can create a new invincible Autobot, but you can't make a old Autobot invincible, which I always found interesting, but we'll get to that.
Well, you know what's even more funny
later,
about
right?
that? If you go back just a few seconds, Ironhide he gets shot in the Jimmy.
That's smart. Must be getting old, Ironhide.
Since he's laughing at Ironhide getting shot in the junk. Literally.
So hopefully we'll never see that happen again. I don't wish that on any Transformer. It must be very painful. Hopefully we won't see that again, at least in this episode. I don't want to see that again. But yes, it's showing the Dinobots are out of control. Low blows, they're destroying Teletran 1. Now Bumblebee's the brave one.
And Spike, don't forget, once again, Spike offers his help because, as we've all told you before in previous episodes, without the humans there, it'd just be Optimus versus the Decepticons.
That's right. He and Spike are gonna do something, and by do something, it's watch Grimlock destroy everything, as Grimlock pretty much just swipes Bumblebee away after Bumblebee makes a funny try to squash a bug joke, so I like when he realizes he's a Volkswagen.
Come on, Grimlock! Try sniffing that bug!
Car got thrown across the whole place, lands on his side, and Spike just like dusts himself up. Yeah, you better look at Bumblebee. Yeah, he's not doing too well.
Yeah, Spike wasn't even wearing his seatbelt because he was a true boy of the 80s.
We go back to where Optimus is dealing with Slag and Sludge, and Optimus is like, that's it, the Dinobots have to be destroyed, they are out of control.
Wait. Optimus, will he want to destroy his own allies?
Wheeljack's like, no, Optimus, you can't mean that. Unfortunately, I do. And it's funny because Optimus fires his gun at Slag, and it pretty much just bounces off. So even Optimus' gun has zero effect on the Dinobots. And again, I'm thinking to myself, why don't you just give the Autobots these upgrades? You can build 3 brand new Autobots that are invincible. Why not just give some existing Autobots these? Well, again, let's not use logic here. None of the Autobots can stop them. They're all being injured. They're all being destroyed until Wheeljack pulls out the MacGuffin.
It's called the Magnetic Inducer, and it causes them to transform back. I think Ramses overreacted on Optimus wanting to decommission them because he doesn't have them decommissioned. he has them put back in the cave and sealed there. It is a minor inconvenience.
So that ends that scene, but wow, what a scene. But now, what are the Decepticons up to? So how much time has passed here? Let's see. We went to the museum. We had to create the blueprints for the Dinobots. We had to design the Dinobots. We had to create the bodies, the brains, show off their powers, and deactivate them. All that happened.
Oh, and don't forget, and try to fix the base.
Now we're going to head back to Decepticons. So how many days have passed? How much time has passed? And we see no time at all has passed because Soundwave and Reflector report back that moment to Megatron with their findings at the waterfall they were just at.
But the best part is, Megatron does tell Starscream that he has this wonderful plan. Now they have endless hydroelectric power to
Control the universe.
Starscream's like,
I suppose you've devised a brilliant plan for seizing it, eh, leader?
Affirmative, Starscream. We attack the falls at once.
Megatron's claiming that he's going to take over the universe now with hydro power, which I find amazing. He's all excited. Starscream's laughing at him as usual, like, yeah, whatever. Megatron's like, yeah, attack! I'm like, there you go, that's the plan. They brought back all this great news, attack. And they do. They all fly off through their underwater base, and that's it.
now we see the Decepticons totally destroying this security detail of 5 guys with shotguns. And the Decepticons going, oh, you human bugs. This is where we learn, folks, that the Autobots are the go-to for stopping the Decepticons because they try to contact Teletran 1.
Teletran 1, no answer. Oh my god, what's going on? Ravage blitzkriegs through the gate and the window of the cement wall. It is amazing. You wouldn't think Ravage had this much strength. And then what does he do? Does he attack the humans? No. He gets eye lasers firing out of his head, destroying the computer console.
Which makes you go, he has 2 laser cannons on his hips. Why didn't he use those?
Yeah, he never seems to fire those weapons. And also makes you wonder, how did he stay in that cage in episode 3 of the pilot series? If he had all these abilities, he could have very, very easily escaped, don't you think?
Don't forget, he was also being watched by the Autobots the entire time until they decided to let him go.
And what are the Autobots going to do? They have no Teletran 1, the humans can't get in charge of them, and Megatron's all in bolstering mode.
I, Megatron, declare this facility Decepticon domain.
Also, don't forget about the rainbow.
Very cool. I didn't realize they had that. That was cool. It was removed from some of the releases, so it's cool. So yeah, Megatron's now going to put his troops into full production orders. Yes, Energon cubes are going to be produced, and they're all just going to get right to work. So what are the Autobots going to do? They have no way of communicating without Teletran 1. Well, it's a good thing Hound happens to be a scout. That's exactly what he's going to be doing with you-know-who, Spike, of course.
And they're just having some fun banter when he detects the energy signal.
With his gun attachment on his Jeep mode, which again, I don't get it. So is this a gun? Is it a sensor? Is it a radar? He's waving his gun around and he's like, beep, 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 Decepticons. Oh my goodness.
You know what's even funner about all this? He uses his hologram device to find out that it's Megatron and Starscream standing there. Before he pushes his belly button and makes his forehead glow red and then like a light blue or green.
What can't Hound do? I mean, that's...
Well, don't forget, he also has a face mask so he can breathe underwater because he's a robot.
He has a direct call to Optimus, and it's always funny when they do this stuff. You know those old school headsets that people used to use on the computers back when? Yeah, so Optimus will have one of those microphone mouthpieces will appear in his mouth plate, and he'll be able to talk directly to Hound. So he's able to give Optimus the information. Optimus, I sense Decepticons at the Great Falls. We gotta head there right away. Optimus then sends in all the troops, but Bumblebee is to join him on the attack to the Great Falls. So the Decepticons are all, aha, look at all the energy we have. And then, of course, Starscream again. Who else would it be? What are you gonna do if the Autobots show up? I have a plan.
We've already seen Megatron's master plans. What do you think that his plan's going to be? A, go and lure them to a different location, fooling them so they don't know where we're really at.
B, prepare a very strategic and well thought out ambush.
Or C, let's just hide behind things and when they get here, just fly out randomly and shoot at them.
Well, that sounds a little ridiculous. And the winner is...
Just a moment, because we have to... While Autobots arrive here.
So yes, here's our conga line of Autobots, and Ratchet changed his mind. He is now with the rival team. Only Bumblebee stayed behind.
Well, where's Wheeljack? I don't see him anymore. I'm telling you, Ratchet's superpower is 2 places at once. I'm telling you.
Skyfire episode on, they're going to drive everywhere. It doesn't matter how far these locations are. They are driving there. We have no idea how far the Great Falls are, but
doesn't matter. They got from Oregon to the Arctic Circle in less than 5 minutes.
Right, so driving to some falls is not that big a deal. All right, so they all show up, and now they're going to start to transform.
Oh, wait, we have one guy that untransforms, Blue Streak.
But he's talking in robot form right behind him. What is going on here? And now we're going to find out what plan they're going to do here. Let's see.
Is it A, B, or C?
All right, let me have the envelope, please. Alright. Oh, it's dusty in here. Alright, we got choice C. They're just gonna hide and then say attack again?
Yes, that is correct. After all, we've seen that the mastermind that is known as Megatron is capable of outthinking his opponents because he knows for a fact that his opponents cannot shoot, as seen here where two of the Seekers fly through almost every single Autobot and they can't hit them.
But Megatron's like, oh, enough of this. I will show you true power. So this is kind of cool. I'll give Megatron credit for that he knows how to use a power source when it's available to him.
Wait.
I like that.
Last time he used that was with the antimatter. It didn't work out too well for him.
No, it definitely didn't. But maybe this one will be better. What is he going to do? Let's see. So he takes the connections from the waterfall power generator, pumps them into the back of his fusion cannon gun, which shouldn't work because you're just pumping in a random line in there. Now I'll show you true power. And in Megatron's credit, this works. I don't know why he wouldn't use this more often. He destroys the whole cliff that all the Autobots are standing, and I mean obliterates it. And you see Autobots start tumbling to their doom into, you guessed it, the river below again, because that's where Autobots always wind up when they fall down.
And they always float, and they don't sink, which still blows my mind to this day. And after the commercial break, we see that Bumblebee has totally just disobeyed orders and has come to help because he feels that his talents are wasted watching Wheeljack back at base.
Vespor, how did Bumblebee find out that the Autobots even needed him?
He read the script.
Oh boy, I'm sorry I even asked, folks. And then Spike's like, Bumblebee, we gotta head back. Oh my god, what's going on? Spike recaps everything. Alright, let's head back to the base. There's nothing I can do. And the Autobots aren't captured yet. Starscream states the opposite. Wow, you washed the Autobots away. Who cares? What's that gonna do? And then Megatron's like, patience! We will get their carcasses out of the water and then tie them up. And we'll find out what that means in a bit. The Bumblebee does arrive back at the Ark in 2 seconds again. Don't forget, they can travel anywhere on this planet in 3 seconds.
5 minutes.
Alright, we'll give it 5 minutes. We'll be a little generous here. So now Bumblebee returns with Spike, and there's Ratchet and Wheeljack.
That's right.
But no. Here's the picture of him going with them. You see it? Vespor, right here. Ratchet is with them.
He's an inventor. He's like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't have left out those brain-enhancing modules to the Dinobots. So I'll stay back and finish them.
He never left, but he was... Alright, I'm not gonna think about it.
I told you he could be at 2 places at once.
So, Bumblebee alerts Wheeljack and Ratchet what happened, and then Wheeljack's like, aha! This gives you a good reason to use the brain enhancements I built for the Dinobots. And of course, what's the thought going through everybody's head? Why didn't you put those in the first place, moron? I mean, really? So he finally gives the brain upgrades to the 3 Dinobots because against Optimus's orders, and Spike reminds him, but Optimus told you. And I love how Spike's always the one that's like reminding them of things that Optimus said.
So this is going to be an absolute amazing brain upgrade. They'll probably even sound British.
Oh yeah, let's see what happens. The brain modules are put in. Slag, Sludge, and Grimlock are now back in robot form. They're standing in front of us.
And are they from London? What are they going to sound like?
Let's listen to what they have to say.
Save friends.
Save leader.
Maybe we should.
They sound like complete idiots. This isn't even like a Pentium processor. This is like a 56 kilobyte upgrade here you've done, Wheeljack.
Well, it's like a big 20, I guess. Yeah, so we're stepping in the right direction here. I mean, this is the brain upgrades that the most brilliant minds in the Autobot forces were able to do.
Oh, by the way, folks, look at that. When he puts them in their head, it was already designed that way for him to put them in there to begin with.
Yeah, perfectly fits. And now we see that the brain upgrades aren't that great. First time, they just were able to growl and snarl and they sound like dinosaurs. Now they at least can talk, but they sound like total morons. And they're talking in first person of me do this and me no wanna.
Wheeljack tells him like he did before, you need to save our friends and our leader. And then Grimlock's like, fine, we do what you say for now. And then blasts a hole in the side of the base and walks out. Great job, Wheeljack. Wonderful brain upgrade on that.
Very weird how this is all going. But now the Decepticons have all the Autobots trapped using Energon chains.
Hold on a second. You know something different about Optimus here? He's blue, da-ba-dee-da-boo-die.
So the idea is Megatron wants to dispose of them, so what's he doing? Slowly sapping the life out of them or something?
Oh, he's not going to do that. Look right here.
Ready? Aim! What are those?
The Slag and Sludge are flying above, and they're like,
Each one's friends.
Ones with face like this, I think.
So, you know what? The
That's
Rumby
our Dinobot.
symbols are here to save the day.
now it becomes time to show off the Dinobots. And to the credit of this show, the Dinobots do stay at this power level for the run of at least the first 2 seasons.
And boy, oh boy, is it one heck of a fight. And they totally destroy their opponents. They can't even hurt them.
All of them are trying to stop them at every chance they get. Rumble uses his pylons to try to stop Sludge, and Sludge laughs. Sludge just stands there in his Brontosaurus mode and stomps the ground, and Rumble's the one that gets rumbled, and his pistons even come off of his body as Rumble's complaining that it's not fair to do it back to him. So that was great. We have a very funny moment with Skywarp using one of the corniest quotes ever, which is,
Heat-seeking missiles, seek heat!
yes, they do, Skywarp. That is right. So he fires them, and then for some strange, unknown reason, Skywarp decides to fly in to investigate the damage he just did, only for Grimlock to take a bite out of Skywarp in the air.
We're talking like danger close. We're talking, it looks like he's trying to ram Grimlock. All he had to do was just open his mouth and he flew right into it. But the most excellent thing of this entire episode is when Wheeljack shows up during mid-battle and shoots Megatron in the crotch with his gyro inhibitor shell. Literally explodes out of his body, as you can see right here.
Zero inhibitor shells! My equilibrium destabilized!
And then this is literally the beginning, the ultimate Starscream meme.
Here we go. This is a very famous moment now, because when you think of Starscream, you're going to think of this line.
What is that line you say? If you haven't heard it once, you'll hear it a bajillion times after this.
Megatron has fallen! I, Starscream, am now your leader! Decepticons, follow me!
And they all fly away following him. So I'm like, oh, all right. So that, I guess that's the end. Megatron has fallen. Starscream's going to lead them all away. That's the end of it.
Nope, they turn right around and attack again.
Exactly
and
right.
And they get their butts whooped again.
Point of Starscream saying that leads to absolutely nothing, because even Starscream stood around and attacks and just goes back to formation.
But this is where we're going to blow your mind, folks. Megatron stands up finally after walking it off like a true man after getting shot in the jimmy and transforms into his gun form. And you're going, oh gee, who's going to get it? Surely it's not going to be Starscream.
So Starscream in jet mode now, you can get this. Besides the fact that Megatron totally forgot what Starscream just said, that he took over and is the leader now, he's going to allow Starscream to fire him while in jet mode. I don't even know how that happens. Is there a hook onto the switch? Is it a mental ability? How does a jet fire a trigger on a gun rifle?
I'm going to say Megatron just did it. After all, it's Starscream, and we all have seen in every episode how little Megatron distrusts him. At the same time, if you distrust him that much, just kill him and get it over with.
Now, Megatron can't hit anything, and you can blame either Starscream, you can blame Megatron, but again, no one hits anything.
It's time for Wheeljack to free his friends by finding the specialized guns that allow him to both simultaneously dry off the Autobots and then power them back up.
Yeah, and this is a funny scene because, like, why wouldn't the Decepticons take all these weapons and use them? So they're just sitting there in a clump, like in the middle of nowhere, and Wheeljack fires Sideswipe, Stun Gun, and Blue Streak's Electron Blaster to recharge them. I don't even know how that works. Like, why are these weapons so weak and pathetic? Like, the Transformers have been warring for millions of years, and it looks like their weapons don't do anything. Even Megatron in his fusion cannon mode does nothing. It does nothing. It's like these weapons don't work. Are they just for show? What is the point of these weapons?
To look good, because in all honesty, the only time they actually are able to shoot anyone is when it's friendly fire, both on the Autobots and the Decepticons.
Autobots are all freed. Now they join in with Dinobots, and that's it. The Decepticons are like, all right, now we're outnumbered, because even Megatron realizes Dinobots are invincible. I want no part of this. I've already been injured and embarrassed, very badly embarrassed here. I'm getting out of here. He pulls a Starscream and says, Decepticons retreat. And now I guess he's leader again. The Starscream leadership is over after 1 minute. Now everyone just flies off with Megatron now, as if nothing happened. So what's going to happen now to wrap up this episode?
Of course, we're going to have Bumblebee and Wheeljack say, we broke the rules. We didn't listen to you, Prime, but we stand by our actions because look at the results. And Optimus is like, well, even the most wisest of human or robot makes mistakes. I'm like, no, Optimus, you didn't make a mistake. Hey, we're going to destroy your entire base and everybody you love.
Optimus isn't wrong. In that version of the Dinobots, yes, they should not be alive because they're just too chaotic. But if you put in the brain implants that you put in them now, yes, we can work with this. So Optimus should have been, well, now they're all right, now that you upgraded their brains properly like you should have done all along, Wheeljack.
And then the second question is being, Wheeljack, why do they talk like 6-year-olds?
It's funny, it's for kids, it's so silly, that's fine. How does it all end? Optus now accepts he was wrong, even though I don't know how wrong he was. It says the Dinobots are now a welcome part of the Autobots. Welcome them, everybody. And the Dinobots just transform into their Dinobot form, give out a roar, and that's how the episode ends. That was S.O.S. Dinobots. Fun episode for different reasons. Now you have to remember, sometimes we got to take ourselves back to our 6, 7, 8-year-old selves watching this. I think as a kid, we would have reacted very differently to this situation than we do as our adult self now watching this. Vespor, our fearless leader, definitely not Grimlock Brain. He is much superior to that. Let's hope at least.
Me Vespor.
Yes, me Vespor.
Like this episode, me Vespor think that Dinobots entry is very important to a franchise. And all jokes aside, it was a fun little episode, although it made no sense. It's filled with error after error, and even Optimus wasn't even acting like himself a little bit in this episode, because they just went there and was like, just kill them. We're like, wow. This is the first time we figure out that you can actually make true Transformers and not just make-believe, pretend like Megatron did in the 3rd episode. I mean, the episode was fun. I enjoyed it. And I will still stand to this day that this is probably one of the funnest scenes you'll ever see, is when Megatron gets shot in the jimmy. They are ruffled so badly that it causes even Starscream to go, well, he's not getting up from that one, folks. I'm the leader now. And because of that, I want to give this episode 3.5. It had some slow parts, but overall, it was mostly a non-stop ride from beginning to finish. Just how ludicrous everything was. Plus, the battle scenes were spectacular.
I think it's a lot of fun. Seeing this as a kid was amazing. Wow, dinosaur Transformers. I mean, how cool is that? And they're actually going to have toys of this, and they're going to be remaining with the series. I mean, this is like where it all started. This is the first time we see some of the coolest characters ever to grace the screens. That's the Dinobots. So, I like what they did here. But logically, a lot of this stuff made no sense. Like, why is Wheeljack creating dumb dinosaur robots? Like, what use is that? And then you can upgrade them a little bit anyway. Why didn't you do that in the first place before Optimus was ordering them killed? It is cool, though, because like Vespor said, this is the first time we see sentient new Transformers built from nothing. It's like you always wondered, where do they come from? We'll learn later that they don't just come from this, and there's a whole story to it. The writers are all going to have their own opinions of what a new Transformer is. Donald F. Glut decided you have the design, you have the blueprints, you can create it, and you have a brain module. There you go, that's all you need. So that's fun, and I like that. And any kid's going to love the Dinobots destroying everything, because you want to see that. We love monsters, we love dinosaurs. The other plot of this is a power plant. The Decepticons, time and time again, have gone out to power plants. What was with all the reconnaissance? What was with all the finding out the information? Like, we don't know what a hydro plant is. We've been to hydro plants many times already. Why is this the most powerful hydro plant in the history? I'm going to take over the universe if I get the Energon cubes here. It didn't make any sense. Stupid. And now, of course, the funniest moments are the reactions that some of the characters make. Yes, the Megatron getting hit where the sun don't shine. Why don't they just do that all the time if that's all it takes to stun Megatron for 10 minutes like that? I mean, that was amazing. And then Starscream being like, I'm the leader now, and then that moment's all forgotten like 2 seconds later. Believe it or not, I am also giving this a 3.5, and this again was without us referring. I do believe this is 3.5 level. It had the humor, it had the action, it had the silliness, it had the entertainment value. Be over a 3. But a 4 is a little more special. The story's a little too generic, the Dinobots are a little too silly, and there's a lot of very cornball moments in this, and it seems a little rushed, and the plot is all over the place. So for that reason, it keeps away from a 4. But for a fun, this is Transformers, you gotta see an episode. S.O.S. Dinobots fits that bill. It's one of those you must see. And yeah, that wraps it up for this episode. Thanks again for joining us here on our Transformers review series. We're going to try to go through them all. We're having so much fun, and the feedback has been so great on these episodes. And yeah, we're going to keep going. We want to hear from you guys, though. What did you love about this episode? What do you think of the Dinobots? Did you love that moment with Megatron also? Let us know. As always, please remember to
like, comment, subscribe, and
ring that bell so we can bring you much more where this came from. Thanks for joining us for another review of Transformers Generation 1. We'll see you all next time for the next one. I'll leave you with these fine words.
If on Decepticon turf you happen to tumble, look out, robot, 'cause